Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, but starting with Australia in terms of the ASX 200 and Elliott wave. We'll also look at CBA and BHP in this ASX mix here. Now, with this particular market here, we're looking at wave 4 being completed and we're looking for wave 5 to move up. Now, with wave 5 to move up here, it's possible to have 5 waves up to the 6,500 here and have that wave 5 sitting in here. And that would look about right too when I'm looking at this particular pattern here in terms of the length of wave 1 and length of wave 3 and the length of wave 5 here. Extension being in wave 3, we would look at wave 1 and wave 5 being much the same. But we could also have an extension in a further extension in wave 5 and have this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And the reason that I think this may be the case here is not so much of the strong move that we've actually just had over the last few days here, and we'll talk about that, but I'll just put this back up through to here. And it's something that, you know, I know that when we get to the 6,500 here, we will have some type of corrective pattern here. We also need to know that this is pretty much the high from the GFC over here. There we go, from back over here, 6,500. So, you know, we can expect that to be you know, resistance in that space there. But the reason that I think that this could actually move up a lot higher here is simply because, I pointed this out last week, is because of CBA here. Now with CBA here, the ASX 200 is just coming and testing these old highs here now, where this bank here is pretty much sort of follow the US markets to a point as such and moved up much stronger. So in this instance here, we've got a very clear 1 and 2 here and 3 here, and then we have this corrective pattern here as wave 4, and last week we talked about this probably being finished here. The move down through here on CBA doesn't count very nicely as 5 waves, so we may end up with a bit more of a triangle pattern here, if you don't mind. So in terms of a move up to the 80 to here, and then a move back down here, and then a move up here, and then we may have to put wave 4 over here as such, okay? But as it stands, the wave 4 is pulled back more than enough, more than the 38.2% retracement level, so it's well over its distance here. So yeah, it is corrective, this particular pattern. So let's see how we go with this. Currently on this little move up here, we know that the banks are being strong. Let's just go into a 1 hour chart here. So currently off the lows here, we are seeing an impulse wave moving along in here, and I can see that we've got wave 1 and 2 in here. I need to do a little bit more work on this particular structure in here, but we can look to be moving up to the 75 here and then a bit higher. So we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to move up through here. And of course, you know, I'll just go back to the monthly chart here. I've got a couple of things to talk about here. It's not really my sort of field, but this is BHP here. So we'd been counting with BHP from the low here in 2016. The banks topped out in 2015. So we've had, as you know, we've had, can I move that across here? Oops. Where was I on the monthly chart here? So this is roughly sort of 2016 is here, so 2015 here. So while the banks were basically moving down first here, then we saw from the low here, these guys pushing up here. So we've been counting 5 waves up through here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then looking for this last leg up here. There may be one more little move in here, there may not. But we're certainly to a top here. So what normally happens, you know, if we look at this situation over here, we could see that the commercials, you know, the commercials, the large institutions and so on, they obviously were taking profit on their banking run here, and then moving the money over into the resources here. Okay, but I think that now that this, that if that's the normal pattern, which it basically is, so they would start to be moving out of here, taking profit of this trend and moving back into this trend over here. So I think that in one way or another, CBA would need to move up to 100 here, and of course the other four banks in their own way would be doing much the same here as well. So that changeover is really sort of important here. And so what we're doing with CBA here, what we'll do is, I know that we've moved into ANZ already. They're just a bit more, got better ratios in their banking system, so to speak. But this move up here on the 1 hour chart here, what we'll do, I mean, we've also got the other point to this too, of course, is that this is not my field, but it's the coming into the end of the financial year, so it's the 25th today, so we've got this last week here, so people would be looking at justifying their cashing in their losses to balance their books on whatever. Cashing out of this here, because there's not really a lot of volume that's actually pushed these guys up here when you consider it. See, this is the normal volume here, down here, so there's not like a lot in that regard, so it's more of a sort of a short covering than anything else, I'd imagine, and using that, writing those losses off. So we'll wait for this 1 and 2. I've done the work on this one. I've done some work on this on the tick chart, but still I can see that we haven't topped out here yet. So once we top out, once we've got 5 waves here and we've topped out, and it'll be in the beginning of July, then we can look at this particular correction back in here, and then we can move into the banks again. Sure, we could have a little few trades in amongst all this here, just on the tick chart here. This is 20 ticks here, so not that it's going to do much for at this stage here, but I have started to work on it as such in here, getting the first little run done in here. So if you've got a starting point in here, this is what we're looking at here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1 and 2, and then working the third wave up here. So I've done a bit in here, and I've moved my little things along, but I need to do a bit more in here as well to get this sort of finished. But do expect a correction to occur at 75 there with that. So yeah, look, I just wanted to go through that a little bit. This move here, I've gone back over this here, and from this low here, it does count what I'm counting here. So I'm trying to count 5 waves from here up to the 6,500. So the 1 and the 2 are in here, and the 3 and the 4 and the 5th wave here is extending in here because of what's happening with the banks. So the banks are basically back in control of this market here, and they normally are. CBA is about 9% of that index there, and the other big banks too play probably even more weight than BHP in I think even the NAB's got more weight in this than the in terms of weight in this index than BHP. So yeah, so they're back in control now. So what happens in the banks will be, we can reflect back in here, which will be helpful. Yeah, it makes it sort of back to normal in a way, but it may only be until July, so to speak. So a daily chart, just working off the low here. Now, it's possible that from wave 4 here, it's possible that this could be wave 1 here and wave 2 here, okay? I don't think it is. I've gone back over it early this morning, and I'm quite happy with this 1 and 2 in here, and wave 3 here, and even wave 4's pulled back too far. I'm okay with that, and then we need to work on this one here. So working on this one here, as you know, with the trading levels, we've got from 6,000, we've got 100, 200 and 300 here. They make up group 1. So we can expect a reasonable size correction or some time spent at 6,300, and if support is found there, then we'll definitely push up to this larger number here, the 6,500. And when we're talking about number 3 here, because it's just 1, 2 and 3, normally what we'd find is that the market can move up, move back, move up, and then it can come all the way back down to 2 here. It doesn't normally go past that. If it does, it will just be a spike halfway down, but we don't want the number 2 to become the resistance, so we'd need to see it push up from that point. But using number 2 as a basic support for all of this is fine. And sometimes it may only come halfway down to 25, but yeah, looking for some sort of correction there. Once that occurs there and is done, then the run up should be pretty sort of easy, coming in on the support on this side here. And of course we'll use these highs here in case something weird happens and it just goes straight up from there. So these highs, whatever highs it makes here, will be important, and we'll try and nail it down in this point here too. But in the meantime, we're still in this trend to the upside to get to this here and then have its correction here. Okay, so yeah, I thought we may have a bit more of a correction on here, but because of what's happening in the banking sector, I can look at CBA and I can see that that it needs to push higher as such, and the softness in there on Friday for the actual physical market, the XJO cash physical market, it corrected back as I expected it to, but it is a correction, and it will push higher from that point. So on the 4-hour chart, and just picking up from this wave 4 here now, I'm calling this the wave 4, I'm even going to move this wave 1 to here and wave 2 to here, and then we're basically looking at I was looking at more of a correction here, and if I've made a mistake here today, then the mistake will be that there'll be a move down here and then up into here. But I'm kind of looking for it to push straight up into here from that point there, and then from wave 2 to wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves within that structure, and we're looking at wave 4 to move across. So I'll just put that lower here. May not come all the way back here, might just come to the 625 here, and then move up from there. But looking for some type of correction across here in one way or another, and then a move higher into this point. So that 1st of July, this week, or the end of this week, this will be still quite bullish. So this may not come all the way back down here. It might be quite shallow within here. So we need to be a little bit mindful of that. So on the 2-hour chart, those 5 waves from wave 2 to wave 3 here, we're looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here. And I just don't think this is actually finished here now. So we still need to go 3, 4 and 5 in this area through here. On the 1-hour chart, it looks a bit like this here. So from wave 2, wave 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2, and then all of this is 3 and 4 here, and looking for this to be 5. So I need it to pick straight up off here. If it moves back down, you know, to the level here, then this wave 4 has got to be over here in this case. So it's just not finished. And it's possible that this can just be an A and a B and a C wave to here as a B wave, and then down for the C wave. But hang in there tight, it's not going to go far. If you're long already, stay long and accommodate that that move there, and then we'll see a move higher up into 6.3 here. The 3 will have a larger correction than what we see at number 2. That's just normal for that point there. So yeah, just reiterating this particular point here. So we could be looking at a bit of a doozy across this 6,300 level here. This would be the normal process with all of this, but we know that it's the last week for people to use any losses as their you know, to balance their books up in that way. But yeah, that's what we're looking at there. So all that said, I'm going to go and have a look at the other Asian markets quickly now. So we've got, this is China here. I'll just go to the daily chart here. So with this market here, I suppose, you know, we've got this as wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C here. I suppose you could have this as an A and a B and a C and a D and an E here for wave 4 over here, and have 5 waves here and done here and bounce off that 11,500. But I'm going to stay here with this, and we're looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then moving down for 3. So the third wave will land on the 11,500 here. I think we're on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, from wave 4 here, 5 waves down for 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and coming down for 5 here, and then 4 again, 5. So the 11,500 is a medium level in terms of the trading levels, pretty important level, an unassuming number, but critical. So there's still bearishness in this particular move here, so we're just going to stay there on the short side for that. And its neighbour there, Hong Kong here, much the same, so I can fit, don't need to go to the daily chart. So over here, wave 3 here, an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C and a D and an E. There's a couple of different ways to count this, and each of them has one thing wrong with it. So I've just gone with this particular one here, and for us it doesn't matter. We're just you know, the market's about trends and corrections, and we just want the, you know, we want to understand the corrections, of course, but we want to be in the trends. So in this case here, I still think there's further to move to the downside here, based on what I can see with China. So we need to be a little bit mindful. I suppose we can bring the stop down further here, but let's clear these up here. I mean, what we might get here is a little impulse wave here, back here, and up here, and then down again. So I suppose if we're going to move the stop down any further, we can move it down to, or can we? Let me just look at this for a second. We could be pretty close to a low here. I think let's just go in and protect ourselves a little bit. So 29, or there's 29,500. We know that 500 is going to be resistance, so we don't really want to, we don't want to see that as support, but we need the market to go up a little bit. So yeah, let's just keep it above the 600 area there, and we'll keep an eye. Let me just go in and have a little look at this. It's a bit difficult to read that. If I can get a better, cleaner reading on this one here. I can see this is 1, A, B, and C for 2 here, and then the move up here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, overlapping here, but we can go with that for a little bit, but still leave this as wave 4 here. I think we'll just leave the stop above there. Let's just see, there's nothing really going to sort of happen here as such much, so we'll leave it above the 600 area here, so 29, yeah, just above 29, 700, 730. 700, well, above 720. Yeah, just leave it there at the time. We've brought it down a little bit. Let's just keep it out of the way and see what's what. We've already taken some profit here, so we're all good there. Now the Nikkei and the Nifty. So this is the Nikkei here. I'm going to come back to the 4-hour chart. I just want to go back to the daily chart here. So with the daily chart here, Yeah, so we're still looking at this being either bearish down into this wave 2 here or down here further. And let me just go back. Right, okay. So this move down through here, that gave us an ABC correction, which is good. That gave us this one here. This correction here is just still too small. And the only mistake I can make in here is that this move up here being wave 1. So if I just copy this, if I put wave 1 here and wave 2 here, because that's 5 waves. I know that's corrective, and I know that's 5 waves, but this move down here is also corrective as it stands at the moment. If it had breached this one here, then we would be fine by that point. But it's possible to have, I'm just going to dull that out here, and we'll just wait for more information for a couple of sessions, that it is possible for this to be wave 2 sitting here, and this sitting here as wave 1, but would need to see more price action here. I'm going to save that, but at the same time we're going to go back to the 4-hour chart, and it's about trade setup. So this, I know that's corrective, and I know that this is impulsive. This move down here so far is corrective. This move up here appears to be impulsive in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So this is a corrective move here. There may be another move down from this point here before we see a move up. So in the bigger picture, I'm looking for it to come down, but this here has presented itself as an impulse wave. So a move above here would trigger a move above. This would be the safer one, but if you're chomping at the bit, then this one here can have your first position, second position here, and then we can build on top of this here as well. So yeah, but don't get caught out on a spike here. Let this trade, let it flicker around on the opening and settle a little bit, and then move into it if that's going to be the case, okay? And this kind of also the same for the Nifty as well. So on the daily chart here, let's go back to the daily chart. I was looking at this move up here as a B wave in terms of an A and a B and a C wave here. But I suppose if I've made a mistake, then it would be wave 1 and 2 here, then another wave 1 and 2 here, because it has overlapped here, so it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be, because we do get some overlapping in the derivatives markets, but normally you'd count that as wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 1 and 2 of a smaller degree here. So if this is pouncing, getting ready for a move higher here, then we need to look at this setup in here, and that's what I was doing on the 4-hour chart here. And as you know, I was looking at it as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave, but as I just mentioned, it can be wave 1 and 2 here, then wave 1 and 2 of a smaller degree here, and then moving up. So and normally, if I've made a mistake, we would be looking at going long above that high here. So I'm suggesting that yeah, sure, this may correct in here a little bit further as such, and then move up, or just fail and move down from here, the same thing as the other market. But if it takes this high out here, we need to be long at that point, okay? But don't overtrade. We can add when this is the critical one here, because this high here, a breach of that high would change the whole dynamics of this whole pattern here. So even though that this one's a little bit lower than this one here, as long as that high stays in place, this whole pattern remains bearish. Once that's breached here, then it's not bearish. So what we need to do is really wait for that there. That would be the trigger to the upside on that one. So perhaps, well, I'll just leave both of them there, and you can work that the way that you see fit. All right, bit of a long video, but I wanted to sort of squash a bit more into that ASX video there. So thanks for your patience, and thank you for tuning in. Cheers.